What's up, Honesty with Comedy podcast listener? Thank you for listening to my episode, part two, Young Thundercats. We talk about that teen pregnancy. You hear me? Teen parenting. I mean, that's something that we definitely need to take serious. So I ain't making no judgments on it. I'm not talking about it lightly or anything. I'm just kind of giving my own personal testimony with a little humor, because that's what life can be funny sometimes. But so sitting there waiting on my mom and stuff to review the teen pregnancy, the immunization notes. So I was waiting on, my mom was waiting on, to read the results. And she's like, why is it that you cannot get this last test? So I'm like, what do it say? Long story short, ultimately, she ended up finding out the reason, of course. I couldn't get that last test. And she the reaction she had was, it was like mellow, because I think she like, you not a type to run off all the time, like more than likely you gonna take care of your child regardless, had you decide to keep your baby. She don't believe in abortions as well, either. So ultimately it wasn't a second guess for me. So I ended up keep I kept it more so too. I didn't have a high school diploma, so people, excuse me. So moving forward, so after that, ended up getting confirmed, of course, and started to just figure out what did I need to do, because I needed to go to high school, because at that point I was a high school eviction student, and I don't mean dropout. I mean the first high school I went to, I got kicked out. That was before I found out that I was pregnant young. Yeah, kicked out of there, fighting security guards, and just being a hellraiser. The principal there at the time, he didn't even ask my mom for permission. He transferred me over to West High School, and then told her later. And then I went to high school, West High School. Then I got kicked out of there. Then they wouldn't even let me go full time. They only allowed me to go to night school. I couldn't go in the daytime with the rest of the students. And then after that, I had to go to a pregnant school. That's when I found out that I was pregnant. Maybe that was the reason why I was acting crazy. Who knows? I don't know. The hormones are the brain. I should have wrote them a letter, and let them know once I found out. So then I went to a pregnant school. It was a little struggle getting me enrolled, because I wasn't a people person. I wasn't a person that liked the authority. But, my mama, she said, you ain't got no choice. Nah, you can't even go to regular schools no more. They don't even want you, okay? And you got this whole child coming, and this is the only school that's going to take you. So is you going to be just an uneducated wetlock welfare recipient, okay? Or you going to try to get you an education with this GID program. Yeah. So eventually I agreed clearly. And then I met a few of my friends. Shout out, y'all. Y'all already know. Anyway, we formulated this pregnancy early on, bang, bang, crew and whatnot. And we still close to this day. You know what I'm saying? Everybody kind of went their own direction and everything, but for the most part, we still have a really close relationship, But then going through that, you learn and everything. I actually highly recommend pregnant schools for young parents, young teens. Unfortunately, I don't recommend that teens do get pregnant. I don't even recommend that teens get in a relationship. You can ask my own shit. I don't agree. I really feel like kids need to be free. Y'all don't need to be in a relationship, because it's already hard trying to navigate yourself, let alone having to go from middle school to high school to parent school. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's hard to navigate that. And then ones that really kind of just get out on their own, you just trying to figure out yourself. So you're going to try to figure out yourself and another relationship? We're not taking on bodies like that, okay? I don't even know my own triggers are all the way. Clearly, it ended up in a psych ward. So now I'm in this relationship. Brother, we ain't even about that apart. And then, of course, you get the dudes and stuff like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be there for you. And then they go. We all can testify to that. Where are you? Okay? Nowhere. Stop believing that, please. We have to stop believing that. Seriously. We all young. There's too much to life out there than be trying to have a whole nother relationship, figuring that out. And now you got a whole human being that y'all both tied to for the rest of your life. Even past 18, because they go to college too. They become adults. They become parents. So you still going to be stuck together for life with that person, regardless of what you think. So just be careful with that. Do not get in no relationship. Not that early on, let alone have a child, get pregnant. Be careful with that, okay? That's what causes also these other topics I'm calling about. Mental health, anger problem, dependence tensions, a whole relationship issues, abuse, all of that comes in that whole parameter. So take y'all time with that. But anyway, so then going to the pregnant school and everything, it teaches you stuff. So I do recommend, if you are, a young teen, then yeah, seek a school that accepts you, that teaches you how to be a first-time parent and nurtures, and hones in on those skills to help you. Because it did until I had my child. And then I was back to the angry person that I was, lost and confused. And then ultimately assault, someone at the pregnant school. And then I got expelled from there. A few of my friends there can testify to that situation. And I was heartbroken because I got close to the end, and then I couldn't even graduate with them. So then ultimately I went there all that time just to have a child and learn early childhood education, because I didn't have no high school diploma after that. So then after that, I did started, I was like now around 17. So 17, 17 and a half. That's when I had applied to get my first place. My mom was gracious enough to co-sign for my first place. Because when you a child, you a child and you a child. I'm living in the house with all boys, pretty much. No, I needed my own independence. I've always been a person that needed my own independence. I already knew how to cook at like 8, 9 years old. You know what I'm saying? I remember those days. Anyway, but so doing that, then got my own first place. Having my first child, it did also grow me up, I would say, but it was like I already was on that type of time and level before then. You know what I'm saying? Taking on that like that motherly type of role. That's just kind of who I am and my personality type and my characteristics type is to try to always take the lead. If we needed food, go to the store. I don't care if we didn't have money. I'm going to figure out how to get the food. But so I kind of figured out along the way quickly and adjust to motherhood. Not as complex as a lot. Yeah, we was going out, but not like that. You know what I'm saying? It was taking care of business first. But I did have some help. My mom definitely helped me with my kids and stuff, especially early on, my first early ages and stuff. Even if you feel like your parents and stuff wasn't there for you like that, you know what I'm saying, as you were younger, and they turn out to be a better grandparent or more for you, there for you with your child, let them. Let them. Allow that to be a beautiful thing. I promise you. I had to step back like, okay, you are a better grandparent than you was a parent to me. You know what I'm saying? But they learn along the way. And then we also can teach them by being parents to our children. They watch and see that. And they may pick up some habits and like, okay, maybe I could be more affectionate with my own child or even grandchild. So there's lessons all up in that as well. You know what I'm saying? So